Hello, I'm Dr. Ron England, and today I'm going to finish up the last of part threes of lectures on working with Report Builder. And in this last one, I'm going to actually deal with grouping. And the example I'm going to use is this database right here, which is a simple category codes type of database. Concept being very straightforward. You have categories, which have a name, and you have codes, which fit underneath those categories, which have a foreign key link back to the codes here, or back, I'm sorry, the code's back to the category. So category name would point back to name here. And it's a way of handling lookup tables. So what I've done here is I have gone ahead and created a data source, which is where I'm going to get the category codes from. I'm going to go ahead and remove this data set. I'll go ahead and create it, recreate the data set, and work from there. So I would do add data set, and I'm going to use one that's from this database. And in this case, I'm actually going to use the Query Designer. And the two tables I'll use will be categories and codes. And the beauty of this is that it actually uses, if I go here and I look at this, I've actually got this link between categories and codes made. Categories.name equals category name. It actually detects the foreign key linkage, and it actually puts the two together. So that will put those together as that data set, and I'll call that CC data set for category codes, a data set. And there's my fields that I would get from that CC data set. The categories name, categories description, codes names, codes description, and category name will actually match up. They'll be the same. So now what I want to do here is I want to create a report, and the report is going to be that for each category, I want to show all the codes that go with that category. So this is going to require that I do some grouping here. And what I'll do to make this occur is I'll first go ahead and I'll do this within a list control. So I'm going to set up a little list control right here on the page. And I'm going to start with the category's name here. I'm going to put this in here. And I am going to move that up into the corner. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to right click on here. And I want to add a row group. And let's see, let's actually go, I think I can get this to the tablets properties. No, it's not tablets properties. If I click around a little bit on here, I can get the grouping. There's a grouping menu. Well, I guess I'll have to do it this way. I can still do it this way. So I'm going to go row group, and I can go ahead and add a group. And I'm going to create a parent group for the row. The parent will be, in this case, the category, while the child groups will be the codes that go with this. So I'm going to go with categories name being the grouping element there. And notice it split the thing up there. So I have categories named here, and I have categories names here. Now if I run this, I actually can see there's not really much of a report because there's not much to see there. I haven't really put anything. If the ACR gives you the ACR, that would be a category name. But you know what? Let's change this out with something that's a little bit more interesting. The codes that go with the category. So I'm going to get rid of that in that second half of the group, and I'm going to now put the codes that go with this. So I've got codes name, and I'll go ahead and put the codes description in there too, and I'll move them around a little bit. And by moving this, okay, I'll make this a little bit larger, and I can click here and I can make this a little, whoops, I didn't want to move the whole thing. I wanted to resize it. So I'm going to resize this a tad. And now let's run it. In this case now you've got the category was ACR, and the different codes that go with ACR are B1, 2, 3, 4. And I put both the code and the description that goes with the code. So B means not applicable. 1, house on less than 1 acre. ACR is actually a code for acreage. Well, I'm close, but I'm really not giving all the information that I want to give here. I really would like to have those category descriptions also shown, so I'm going to drop this into there. So now I've got the category description and the category name. Now if I run this, you can actually see lot size, ACR. Well, so far so good, except for one problem is that I really would like a little bit of space there. But you know, that's relatively straightforward to do there. I can just go ahead and move these around to make that space. So now it's just a matter of polishing this entire report here. So I can make this a little bit larger. I could probably put a little bit more space between the two of them. And this is always a fun thing because I'm going to try to click around so I can get into that field. And now if I run this, Okay, now I've got ACR, lot size, FS, yearly food stamp, supplemental nutrition, region, region code, and then I've got the codes that go with that also. And now it's just a matter of essentially moving things around to where I want them to be and the way that I want them to look. And that will give you, see how it looks now. I'm kind of liking this report now. There's my category. There's my category description. There's my code. There's my code description. And I got this nice little grouped report. So the real point of this is looking at the concept of grouping. I created a group, and if you look down here, you can actually see category name. There's my groupings, and I have this ability to now move groups around, but I'm doing these as row groups, and I can also do column groups too, but the way I wanted this report to look was with row groups. And hopefully this will get you into a situation where you're looking at a master detail relationship where, let's say you have a specific field, like in this case categories, which have lots of codes that go underneath this. Okay, you can create a report where you only show that category one time and then you show the codes that go with it multiple times, all the multiple codes that go with this. And you can also have a little bit of maneuvering through this list control, because the clicking in the list control is kind of tricky here. Clicking that little box there gives you this, and you get different things from right-clicking, where you have the layout and the select pieces and then the properties, and the ability to actually put those groups in right here. So you can specifically put the groups in within the control itself. I think this will get most of the people past with the 3 lectures that I've done on this. Very short, very straightforward. Can get most people doing a lot of the things that you would like to be able to do in Report Builder. What I haven't gone over specifically is a lot of these other formats, like I did a list in this case, and I've actually looked at tables and matrices in previous lectures. But the charts all have this ability to behave in a very common manner when you're trying to tie the stuff to data. So I think this will very much get most people past the learning curve of working with Report Builder. That concept of groups is very important. Thank you very much, and hopefully this will get everybody up and rolling. We're using Report Builder and doing great.